So I'm curious about this because I think about this sometimes for myself, and I'm wondering if you've got a thing too. What are some hobbies or a hobby or whatever that you've always wanted to get into, but never have for one reason or another? Maybe you tried and hit a wall, or there was like whatever reason. I don't care. Like, what's a hobby you've always wanted to get into but just haven't for some reason?
Like for monetary reasons or whatever. Yeah, no time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The reason doesn't matter.
I guess it matters what we consider. Well, okay, so we're just a broad hobby.
Because I feel like almost. Yeah, like when I say hobby, I'm not even limiting it to like
the collecting thing,
purely like nerdy stuff.
Right.
Like I'd say this because I know this is something that you're into. I think for some people, like woodworking, that's a hobby.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend of mine is very much into woodworking, and he just makes bowls all day long. He's got like one of the what's the thing?
Like bowl bowls or actual?
No, actual bowls.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like what's the thing that spins? Lathe? He has a lathe.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Like a big one or
yeah.
like...
Oh yeah. He's got
Jesus.
like a big.
They're expensive.
And he makes like bowls and plates and
that's
stuff
awesome.
like that just because it relaxes him. Like it's a hobby. So
I watch, not to go off topic, but I watch Adam Savage do that. He has the huge lathe and I watch him all the time, like doing that, like making things with the lathe. And
hobbies like that impress me because I don't have that skill set, and while I think I might be capable of learning, I also know that I'm incapable of dedicating myself.
I was going to say, I think everybody's capable of learning because what I've learned from watching people like Adam Savage and other people is that he didn't know how to use one either. He just had to learn from doing like models or whatever, and someone would be like this, and then he just uses it for so long. He's even to the point where I watch him and go, wow, he's real good at this, and he's doing it going, I know everyone's going to yell at me because I didn't do the blah, 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 or I didn't do this, but I don't do... So I feel like now I'm at the age where I'm like, anybody could just start learning anything, and it's not...
Yes.
There's no, like, oh, I won't be good at it. No, you won't. You won't be good at it.
Yeah,
until you start doing it and figuring out how you do it.
Especially in the modern world where tutorials and stuff are a click away. Really, like time and money are the two biggest obstacles for most of us. Though I will say for me, for hobbies like that and for skills like that, maybe the bigger obstacle for me is that I am not neat and tidy. I tend to be pretty chaotic when I go about things, and so when you're dealing with things where there's actually safety issues, where you could actually seriously hurt yourself.
Maim yourself,
like the friend that I mentioned, he one night, like he had showed me he was just black in the chest because something caught wrong.
Yeah, they're dangerous,
and it like through the drywall, but he caught a big chunk, and it like, and he's a he's a fit in shape guy, and it messed him up pretty good.
It doesn't matter how fit you are when you're taking something that's flying in a circle at 1,000 RPM.
Yeah, so for me, I'm not very like cautious and safety minded. Like, so I would not let myself get into a hobby like that because I know I would be destined to cut off a finger or something like that. I'm not wired right. So anyway, back.
I think it would be it would be like fossil hunting.
Oh, that's cool. That's
like
idea.
but it's all that because that's all time. Like if I had time, if I was retired and my kids grew up and like they moved out and I just had time on my hands, I think I would. I like that. I remember the first time I went to Shark River. My friend Chris, who's a naturalist, brought me there when I was like in my 20s. He didn't have any
clothes on?
No, he was totally no. And he brought me to Shark River, and he was like, "Oh, well, there's fossils in there from explaining how it used to be part of the ocean, and there's still shark's teeth and stuff in parts of Shark River because it used to be the ocean." And I remember going, bringing the sifter and just finding all these like shark teeth from 200 million years ago.
So have you actually daydreamed of like doing it as a hobby, like day trips to wherever, like like a metal detector?
Oh God, a metal detector! I would do that as a hobby. 100%. If I had time, that's actually the one you have to buy a pretty expensive one. It seems like to really to find stuff properly that determines what the metals are and things like that. But I would do that, definitely.
Oh, shit.
Remember there was a show called The Detectorists? Detectorists? It was like a British show about these two friends that go metal detecting.
Mm-hmm.
You should watch it, by the way. It's amazing.
You've told me about
Yeah, Dwight Schrute from the British one is the creator, and he's one of the main actors in it. And it's just an amazing show. It's only 3 seasons. But I would do that. I'd be a metal detector.
Okay.
But away from I would scratch off the other 2 that I mentioned and be a... Yeah, just think how fun... you go to an old historic site and you find, like, bullets or...
Yeah, I mean, I guess finding
belt
old shot
buckles
and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it for, like... I wouldn't want to do it for the goal, like, be, like, trying to become rich. It would just be more about... Like, when I was a kid, I always wanted a metal detector because I lived in the Pine Barrens. One time, my friend found an old buffalo penny, right? They were the buffalo nickel penny. But we found one in the woods.
Really?
And I was like, wait, what? So... they're just and I think I said to my dad, and he's like, well, like out in the Pine Barrens, there's probably people out here at some point. Like, what did they used to? What's the stuff they not iron, but
bog iron?
Yeah, bog iron. Just somebody probably just
There's
dropped
still
one.
People out there now.
Yeah, I know, I'm Bamber. But I remember that was when I was like, oh shit. So if I had a metal detector, I'd find like old coins and stuff.
Pretty cool. I only see those guys at the beach. You see them on Island Beach.
Yeah, because
all the time.
those people are looking for
lost jewelry.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to the beach. I wouldn't care. I want to find historically significant things.
I wonder what those beach guys. And for anyone who's out there watching, by all means, like, tell us if you're into this hobby or you know people. I kind of want to know about it because because I don't know about this world really. So I'm kind of curious. I want to know if like the beach guys, is their main motivation like, well, I'm going to find people's missing rings and all that, and they pawn all this stuff? Is that what are they there for that, or is there something more?
And I'm just going off my opinion. Like, I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like if you think about it, they're going for the somebody dropped the ring, somebody dropped a necklace, because they're at the beach. It's like New Jersey.
I guess the beach is an easy target because a lot of people were there.
Yeah,
and plus it's easy to like.
Yeah, that's why you see them at the end.
Put your hand in and pull.
Yeah,
it,
and they go at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're always there when the sun's going down.
That is when I always see them too. Yeah, you're right. Look what's over here.
Oh, that whole time. Was it on now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be able to I'll just crank it up.
I mean, no, that error is getting left in. Just folks, we don't know what we're doing.
It still should have picked you up in some aspects.
No. Yeah. It'll pick. Yeah, it'll be fine. It's just going to be a little squirrely in the beginning. Oops. It's actually that's kind of cool. I don't
just talking about it makes me want to go out and buy one now.
That's kind of cool. How much are they? Like,
that's the thing. Like, I when the kids were little, I got them one because I think one of the kids wanted one.
Nerd.
And I got one for like $100.
But for kids,
if you get the good ones, you wear the headphones, and the frequencies, the beeping or whatever, will tell you if it's a gold, is it tin, is it
really?
Yeah, so So when you go over something, you go, I don't give a shit. It's just steel.
Huh. Interesting.
So you can buy the good ones.
And what are they, like
bounce.
a grand?
Yeah, I think they're and higher.
Wow.
Because of the technology that
I guess they could probe further too.
Yeah, some of them I guess go deeper.
I'm not digging that deep. It better be a really good ring for me.
You could have that fancy scoop.
That's right. And don't go with your friend, because if you find the ring and your friend covets it,
that's the detectorists. That's why you have to watch that, because shit like that goes down.
Oh, excellent.
But go ahead. I want to hear what you would be doing.
I mean, I think this is one that you actually know already, because I've lamented this before. But I mean, I've always wanted to get into miniature wargaming. You see the tables of terrain all set up, and the big armies of
would be amazing,
meticulously painted miniatures and
go on. But I just want to say, when you're done, there's something that I know me and you both would be doing.
I know exactly what it is, and yes, they're tied together. They're similar in some ways. They're tied together.
Where I feel like if we were both retired, we'd probably be those two goofballs doing.
I will, in fact, be doing that thing that we're going to be talking about relatively soon, because Brainy Brian and I are going to be collaborating on that. But we'll get to that.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah. The miniature wargaming, like I've been fascinated by it for ages. I love looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
I love war games. When it comes to board games and stuff, I'm drawn towards war games and battle games. Same thing like on video games. I play a lot of strategy games. I love that stuff. But And the idea of this giant, massive setup where
and these whole table, like not even just a regular table, like putting plywood size tables down.
So it's so great. Like it's so uber nerdy in the best way. But there's like a bunch of reasons that I've never pursued it. There's the obviously there's the cost,
right?
Because it's an investment even to take your very first step, and
it
I
probably
know,
never ends, right? Because you're just constantly like, oh, I can make this look like smoke. Oh, I can build
Well, yeah, especially for somebody like me who has that kind of, well, now that I have this, I have to get all the things.
Right.
It would be opening up a Pandora's box of collecting and buying that could get very expensive. Because I know people are going to say in the comments like, oh, but you can get into this game or that game cheap this way. Like I know, I believe me, I know. I've looked into that before. But so it's not just that, but that's a part of it. There's the expense, there's the time, because technically you're supposed to paint all those miniatures.
Oh God!
And I know that they're
like if you're doing it, it'd have to be painted. It wouldn't look right if they weren't.
Yeah, though the game we're gonna play later, I mean, it's miniatures based, but they're unpainted.
But if you were doing it as a hobby, I mean,
yeah, you want them painted.
Yeah,
and if you play against other people, like some people, not all groups are like that, and you're playing privately, it's not a big deal. But like they're supposed to be painted according to the rules, even like for Warhammer and stuff.
Oh yeah, remember when we went to the store that day and you were talking to the woman working there about
like they
have like rules, right, where they have to be painted and they can only be certain colors or something.
Yeah, you're supposed to maintain like there's a style standard. Because Games Workshop, the company that does Warhammer, which is probably the biggest of these games, yeah, they're very particular about all that stuff because they want you to spend money on their products. Of course. And I did try my hand at painting miniatures years ago. I painted a whole bunch of them. In fact, here we'll roll some pictures right now of.
Oh, look how cool that looks.
Oh yeah,
that one's my favorite.
And I was never very good at it. I think I would be better now because I understand some techniques that I either didn't know then or I was too intimidated to do.
Right.
Specifically like dry brushing and washing. I'm comfortable with them now from doing like model terrain.
Right.
But at the time I wasn't when I was doing the miniatures. But my eyesight is also terrible. And so
at this point you'd have to be doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be able to do it now. And then of course there's the space requirements.
That's what I think the biggest thing would be, because I mean you could do it upstairs, but then it's not temperature controlled, so you're not really getting to be up there all the time. You'd almost have to like build a room.
Yeah, and you
have a shed or something.
You need other people to be into the same thing. So that's why so many people play at game shops, because game shops have the room and it's where people with the common interests come together and all that. And you know that's great. I'm not knocking that. I don't know that that's.
I didn't know that
my thing.
I was shocked when we went to those stores and we went into those places, especially the one store that had all those huge tables.
But yeah, those tables are awesome. They hit walking into a place like that and seeing the tables all set up, especially when they're actually set up for a game.
Yeah, I would like to go there just to look at all the shit.
It presses all my geek buttons in a big way. But again, there's a bunch of reasons why I've just never been able to pull the trigger on that hobby, between the time and the cost and the space and knowing how it would trigger my obsessive collecting gene. And I try not to open up new collections because it's like I'm already out of control with the ones that I have as it is. I thought that I had escaped the collecting for a bit, because I sort of come from a collecting lineage. My old man was a big collector as well, and I thought I had escaped it. I stopped collecting things for a long while after the Great Purge. Actually, Great Purge. After purging all that stuff, it felt like good. All this stuff is off my shoulders. I don't have to think about this any longer. I don't have to be drawn by the collecting bug, but then slowly over the years it came back.
It's like being an addict. Like, you know what I mean? It's like someone who you literally clean up.
As absurd as it sounds, you're not wrong. Actually not wrong. Like the game that we've been playing recently with Transformers Chris. For people watching, if you haven't seen the other episodes, that's the Hexplore series. We started with the Valley of the Dead King. I think we touch on it in the episode about solo games.
Yeah.
Very cool game. Maybe you'll see more about it by us later. Anyway, there was no need for me to immediately get everything for that game system. There was no need. That one game alone could have given me months of playtime.
Potentially.
But there's two things at play. One, of course, is my collector bug. It's like, oh, but it's not. There's not just this one game. There's 4 in the series and expansions and other decks, and I have to have all that stuff.
Right.
And there's also FOMO, which, fear of missing out.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with board games, the board game scene right now, and to an extent where it really annoys me. I've complained about this to you privately before. Where, like, if you don't get something right away, it ends up triple the price on the secondary
forever.
Market because you just can't get it anymore.
Yeah, which is bullshit.
I absolutely hate that because these things, like, if I see something that I know I'm gonna like and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna play in the future, I kind of feel like I better jump on it now because I might not be able to afford this shit later.
You almost have to, because you're saving money actually because you know you're going to get them all, so you actually have to buy them immediately, or you're going to be spending more money doing what you know you're going to be doing. I hate that.
Right? There's one game in the Command and Color series. That's what we're going to play after we're done filming. Is Battlelore, which is part of that.
Oh, Battlelore! I actually know about Battlelore from us doing the Battlelore video.
That's right. We did. Yeah, we did a Battlelore video. There was a game in that system called Samurai Battles that came out some years back and had cool little samurai miniatures and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a fan of the samurai stuff.
Yes.
Look for my book, Films of Akira Kurosawa. Find bookstores everywhere.
Best-selling book.
I mean, I don't know that it's
You could just say best-selling.
Sure, it's a best-selling book. Wait, actually, I don't think that's the name. I don't think that's the title of it.
Oh, find the title.
What is the title of my book? Oh, here it is. Oh,
yeah, there you go. Show it off.
Right here. Here. The Films of Akira Kurosawa.
It's a cool cover.
A viewer's guide. Covers every single one of his films.
Which I have to watch because you're the reason I watched The Seven Samurai.
I love Seven
because
Samurai.
Of that. Ooh, me and my wife both love it, so now we're going to try to go through all the...
Seven Samurai is great, and I mean, there's quite a few I could recommend to people. I would also, for Star Wars fans, watch The Hidden Fortress, because the plot of the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, as they say now, is basically the plot of The Hidden Fortress.
Oh, okay.
Of The Hidden Fortress. Which Lucas did not steal it. He totally acknowledges.
He was just... He's like Spielberg, like Indiana Jones is just a... he loved growing up watching those serial adventures.
But Indiana Jones is also Lucas's creation.
Yes.
Spielberg directed it.
Well, but they kind of...
They ended up co-writing it, but it was sort of like Lucas's idea. But anyway, what the hell? Oh, so the game. Samurai Battles. So at the time, I saw this game come out. It was like the main game, and there was an expansion. And I was playing a lot of these Command and Colors games at the time. And so I thought, I should grab this. I was like, but I got a bunch of them right now. I'll wait a couple months and I'll get it later, because whatever it was we were playing at the time, I think, maybe we were playing Command and Colors Ancients or whatever it was.
Right.
It's like, I'll have time. I'll get it later. That is like $250, $300 now.
That's crazy, because they don't.
If you can even find it.
Because they don't make it anymore.
Yeah, it just isn't made.
That's nuts.
And that was the version with the miniatures. They come out with, I think the ownership went to another company, so they came out with a second version that had wooden blocks instead of miniatures, which is still fine.
And some people would enjoy that.
Some people actually prefer that. But I mean, I'm a sucker for miniatures. I like the toy box factor. But even that one is expensive, because that one is also out of print now. And so, like, I'm just kind of like, it's a game that I really would have loved, and I would love playing, but because I didn't jump on it immediately, it is now more than triple the price.
That's just. Do they stop making it because the company that makes it just is like, well, there's not enough demand?
Yeah, I think it's just the board game market is saturated these days. I mean, there are literally thousands of games come out each year now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like when you go to even Barnes and Noble, and you're just like, whoa, what? Like all these, I want to buy so many of them because they all look amazing.
Yeah, it's absurd. So even good games that were popular and people really liked, like Battlelore, for instance, they don't stay in print, because if they're not constantly flying off the shelves, once there's a slowdown,
Yeah, they'll just bring something else out.
And the other thing is that because I like those games with like a lot of little miniatures, again, the toy box factors.
Yeah.
It's fun for me. Memoir 44 is one that I really love, which we also did a video on that. Check the board game, what do you call it, playlist for that. But has a really cool toy box factor. But those games are expensive to produce, for them to produce. So they need to be selling gangbusters in order to keep them in print. So yeah, it's frustrating. And how the hell did we get on that?
Because you were talking about your what you would enjoy collecting.
Okay.
So the miniatures and the stuff,
the collecting thing. Yeah, so that's been part of one of the reasons why I haven't gotten into the full-on miniature wargaming is because it would trigger this collecting surge.
As it triggered you. Just there,
even with regular board games, and companies like Games Workshop and others know that people like me are out there. They pump. I think Warhammer, I want to say, is on version 9 now, maybe 10. I think it's something like that, 9 or 10. And they're just constantly pumping out stuff.
So half of the reason might also be that they don't is because they know they might produce these and then be like, oh, no more, and now we need, because they know people like you just need to keep buying.
Oh yeah.
Or if they have the old ones out there.
Because then and they'll have, when they have like tournaments and conventions and stuff, and at game stores, like officially sanctioned matches, it will be with the latest version.
It has to be with the latest version.
They will, and I know that lots of independent game stores will, like, maybe they'll ignore that. And of course, if you're playing privately, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Right.
But again, playing privately, I don't have the space for that.
Right.
Like to set up stuff like that. I would love to. I would love to, because that's the hobby that we were both dancing around earlier. I know what it is. I know what it is.
So I hope you do.
Model railroading.
Yeah.
Of course.
Does it start with the T, trains?
I would totally be that, like,
oh my God,
that old white guy in the basement, like,
putting little chunks of coal into like the
dinner's ready. I'll be up in 20 minutes. Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh my God, the model, like, we used to get, there's that place which we should go to. There's that one place in the middle of New Jersey. It's like Central Jersey. Mm-hmm. There's like the Railroad Museum.
I've been dying to go.
I went there years ago with my wife. I don't know why she came. Oh, my dad wanted to go because my dad's always been in the tree. He still has his old, I think I've told you, like, he has the old Santa Fe train from like the 50s. That was his as a kid. So he used to set it up all the time. He has the big, like,
yeah. That's
like, and
cool.
the smell and all the things, and he would always build it and buy all the model shit. We'd put like the rocks down and
so great.
But we went there one time because he wanted to go see them, and I was like, I could be that old. I could be that old guy.
I could transform this room into that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like where you walk in and you just have like you got to go underneath and flip up to top up to get to things. Oh yeah, I would.
When I was there was a guy literally had the train ran on coal.
Yeah, they're like,
and so it would come around and go around 2 times, and you'd have to shovel coal.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And it's like, holy fuck.
So Brainy Brian and I are going to be collaborating on one, and is it going to be?
I guess it's going to be in the basement.
Yeah, it's going to be in his basement. It works out well because we both have different parts of it that we're interested in. He just wants to lay track and run trains.
Okay, and
he likes that part, and the part that I
which works out great. Then
I want to make the terrain. Here's some footage of my model terrain, which is not for.
Look at that!
Look at that one!
I forgot how cool that looked.
Which is not, of course, for trains, but when I first got into it, because that's part of what triggered the question for you, is because I've told you before, for years I wanted to get into that hobby but just never did.
Right.
And so I finally,
because it's
the pandemic finally sort of kicked my ass and said, like, start making model terrain. So I finally started to do it. But the way I had already always described it to you and other friends when I tried to explain what I was doing, because it's like, I'm not making this for games or for gaming.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a model railroad but without the railroad. Like, I'm going to make a model railroad setup, but like for a fantasy setting.
Right.
But
yeah, because I remember we were trying to do it with squares and stuff, so you could like change like where they would go and everything like that.
Yeah, I have a couple of modular pieces that I made, and then a bunch of other little stuff, and like.
But now you can use some of that stuff for the train setting, because some of it you can. Like the mountains, you made some of the rock mountains and rock formations. I mean, even some of the temple, you could put that in train situation.
Actually, I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool to have a train running through a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be? And actually, oh my God.
What about the one
just
where
actually
you do
customize the locomotives to have it like a wizard's locomotive?
Yeah, or something like that.
Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God, that idea is amazing.
You do that, man.
Has anyone done someone has to have done that, right?
I don't know. Because a lot of times I think people that do trains tend to they're like, well, trains were 18, They
want the historical part.
Yeah, it's like 1820s.
Now I'm going to need to get Brainy Brian approval on that.
That would be pretty cool. Because if it's
God.
fantasy, it doesn't matter that.
Yeah, how awesome would that be? Somebody, I bet somebody has done like a Harry Potter model railroad.
Well, I mean, we have a Harry Potter.
But that's set in the modern day.
Yeah.
I mean more like, you know
Yeah,
what
it would be like a alternate universe fantasy.
Yeah. Oh,
that'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
You have like ogres hanging on the side of the train.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That would be so cool.
I'm like all of a sudden super pumped up about this idea. Hell yeah. So yeah, like.
So when you guys start doing that, you have to let me come by and see like
take part. Like
I'd run some electric so we can have like lights and shit.
Yeah, work on it with us. Work on it. Actually, I know what part you can do.
What?
You can build like the actual like frame and horses and
I
stuff
could do
like
that
because you can do woodworking and stuff. Like I think Brian can to some extent. I can't. So
we could make like the trapdoor things and stuff so you can go in the middle.
Yeah, he has his the basic setup in like not the layout in mind, but like the amount of space and like what he needs because of where it needs to be in the basement. So I mean it wouldn't be huge or anything, but that's okay. And as I proposed to him, like we should make it semi-modular anyway, so that rather than it being one like here it is, it's like whatever it's going to be 4 by 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
Have it in sections so that you can mix it up from time to time. But I'm with you. Model railroading, I would totally.
That would be amazing. Another very expensive though.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's why it's a retirement hobby too, because it's not just expensive but time consuming.
Yeah.
It's like a time hobby, which is okay by me. I got nothing but time. All right. I guess we should we should wrap it up and go build a model railroad.
Yeah, let's go build a model railroad.
Yeah, that's not actually gonna happen. That's not actually gonna happen. All right.